Now we'll do the final part of limits, which is nothing but the derivations of limits, the theorems of limits. Let's see this. Limits. We are going to do the theorems of limits. Now, the first theorem that we have is prove that limit of x tends to 0, sin x upon x is equal to 1. Right? Now, as x tends to 0, let us assume that x is greater than 0. It could be greater than 0 or less than 0. Right? As x tends to 0, x could be positive or negative. Let us assume case 1. Let x be positive. Let us assume that x is positive. Now, as x tends to 0, therefore I can say x is a number close to 0. Therefore, x is close to 0. Therefore, we can safely assume x to be greater than 0, since we have assumed that it is positive, and less than pi by 2. If x is greater than 0 and less than pi by 2, that means x has to be in the first quadrant. Therefore, x is in first quadrant. Let's draw a diagram to explain this. Let's assume that these are the axes x, x bar, y, y bar. This is an origin. Let us draw a unit circle with O as the center. Let us draw a unit circle with O as the center. O is 0, 0. Right? Now, let us assume if it is a unit circle, then point A, which is on x axis, will be 1, 0. Right? Now, let us assume that angle AOP is x radians. Let us assume that angle AOB is x radians, and where the point of intersection P between the circle and ray OB is P is the point of intersection between of ray OB on the circle. Right? Now, I can say therefore, I could say therefore P will have the coordinates cos x, sin x. The coordinates of P are going to be cos x, sin x. It should be r cos theta, r sin theta. Here r, the radius, is 1, and that is the reason why we are not writing it. The coordinates of a point should be r cos theta, r sin theta. Here r, the radius, is 1. Therefore, we do not have to write it. Therefore, it will be cos theta, sin theta. Right? Now, length of the arc S is equal to r theta. R is 1. So, length of the arc is going to be equal to, that is, your length of the arc is length AP, is going to be r is 1 and theta is x radians. So length AP is going to be x radians. Now draw a perpendicular from P on x axis. Draw a perpendicular from P on x axis. Let it be equal to PM. So PM is perpendicular to x axis. Fine. Now in triangle OPM, let us consider triangle OPM. In triangle OPM, you can say that before that, let's just complete this triangle. We've dropped, you have PM is perpendicular to x axis, right? Now join PA. So you have another triangle. Draw a tangent from point A and let us intersect ray OB at B. Draw a tangent from point A and let it intersect ray OP at B. Fine, do we get this in clear? Now, let's start. Now that the diagram is complete, we can start. Let's consider in triangle OAB. I can say that angle A is 90 degree. Tangent perpendicularity theorem. Tangent is perpendicular to the radius at its outer end. Tangent perpendicularity theorem. Right? Tangent is perpendicular to the radius at its outer end. Now, in this triangle, I can say what will be tan x. Tan x is nothing but opposite, that's AB, upon adjacent, that is OA. Length OA is the radius of the circle, which will be 1. Therefore, I can say that AB is tan x. Fine, do we get this thing clear? Now, I can say that area of triangle OAB. Area of triangle is nothing but half base into height. Area of triangle is half base. Base is nothing but OA. Height is nothing but AB. So area of triangle is going to be nothing but half base into height. So half base OA is nothing but the radius, which is 1. Height AB we found out is nothing but tan x. So thus area of triangle OAB is nothing but half tan x. Now area of sector OPA. Area of sector is given by the formula half r square theta. Area of sector is given by the formula half r square theta. Half radius is 1, theta is x. Right? Next, let's consider in triangle. We've done this. Let's consider in triangle POA. In triangle POA. Right? What will be sin x? Sin x will be nothing but opposite upon adjacent. Opposite is going to be nothing but PM upon adjacent is going to be OM. Fine, do we get this in clear? Now, opposite upon hypo. Sin theta is nothing but opposite upon hypo. So this is going to be sin x is equal to PM upon OP. So therefore you can say that sin x is equal to PM. OP is the radius, which is 1. Right? Hence, we can say that area of triangle OPA is half base. Base is OA into height. Height is nothing but PM. Right? Area of triangle is half base into height. Fine, do we get this in clear? So this is going to be half OA is 1. PM we just found out is sin x. So area of triangle OPA is half sin x. Fine, do we get this thing clear? Right? Now, I can say from the figure, area of triangle POA, POA is less than area of sector OPA is less than area of triangle OAB. From the figure it's very clear that this is the area of the triangle is the smallest, then you have the area of the sector, and then you have the area of the larger triangle. We have already found out all the three. So area of triangle POA can be written as half sin x is less than, area of sector is nothing but half x is less than, area of triangle OAB is nothing but half tan x. Right? Do we get this thing clear? Now, half gets cancelled. So you will get sin x is less than tan x. Divide throughout by sin x. Divide by sin x. If I divide by sin x, I'll get 1 is less than x upon sin x is less than tan x can be written as sin x upon cos x, and I'm dividing by sin x, so this will get cancelled. So you will get 1 is less than x is less than 1 upon cos x. Reciprocate. When you have inequality and if you reciprocate, the inequality is reversed. So if I reciprocate this, this will give you 1 is greater than sin x upon x is greater than cos x. Rearrange. If I rearrange this can be written as cos x is less than sin x upon x is less than 1. Multiply by limit of x tends to 0. Limit of x tends to 0. Cos x is less than limit of x tends to 0. Sin x upon x is less than limit of x tends to 0, 1. Now, if I substitute the value of x as 0, cos of 0 is nothing but 1. So I can say 1 is less than limit of x tends to 0. Sin x upon x is less than limit of x tends to 0, 1 is 1. But here we have a peculiar situation. How can a number be simultaneously less than 1 and greater than 1? How can a number be simultaneously less than 1 and greater than 1? It is not possible, hence we put an equal to sign here. Because a number cannot simultaneously be less than 1 and greater than 1. Therefore, you will get limit of x tends to 0, sin x upon x is equal to 1. Because that is the only condition under which this inequality will be true. Now we had assumed that x is positive in case 1. Case 2, let x be negative. If x is negative, I can say let y be equal to minus x. Let y be equal to minus x. Now, I can say that we have already proved for a positive angle, we have already proved that limit of x tends to 0, sin y upon y is 1 if the angle is positive. Sin y upon y is 1 where we will assume y tends to 0, right? Now, if x tends to y is equal to minus x, right? So I can substitute this value. So limit of y tends to 0. This is sin of minus x upon minus x is 1. Sin of minus theta is nothing but minus sin theta. So limit of, since x tends to minus y, I can substitute here as x. So limit of x tends to 0. Minus sin x upon minus x is 1. Cancel. So you will get for negative angle also limit of x tends to 0. Sin x upon x is equal to 1. So irrespective of whether the angle is positive or negative, sin x upon x is 1. This finishes this theorem. Thank you.